Bill Maher called out CNN's Kaitlan Collins on the network's bias. Let's watch.
You made press because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight. And the crowd burst into laughter.
CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And
I'm talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame them. They were just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out to be. It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View. In a way, I feel like it's more insulting than what Trump does. And Trump says you're the enemy of the people, which is pretty bad. What she's kind of saying is, I don't need you. I'm not talking to you. You don't matter. You're not relevant anymore. To me, that's even worse than I hate you. It's like, I don't think about you.
I don't know if it's worse than denigrating the press on a daily basis, which is what Donald Trump did.
Recently, we showed you Bill Maher absolutely torching Kaitlan Collins for going after Caroline Leavitt, and honestly, we thought that would be enough to make Kaitlan pump the brakes. But nope, she doubled down. The CNN anchor is still coming after Leavitt, Trump, and Elon Musk with even more desperate attacks. And Bill, well, he wasn't about to let that slide. This time, the takedown was even more brutal. Pure fireworks. Lucky for you, we've got all the receipts, so let's roll.
Would you continue to give Ukraine money and weapons if you're elected? What's the answer?
If I'm president, I will have that war settled in one day, 24 hours. It'll be absolutely
Do you
over.
want Ukraine to win this war?
I don't think in terms of winning and losing. I think in terms of getting it settled so we stop killing all these people.
Can I just follow up on that because that's a really important
Excuse me,
statement
let me
that
just
you just
follow
made
up.
there. Can you say if you want Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying. Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying.
Now, we'll get to the Bill Maher takedown in a second. But first, let's talk about why Maher, a guy who voted for Biden, suddenly sounds like he's siding with Republicans. You see, woke journalists have been setting traps for Trump long before he even won the November election, and leading the charge was none other than Kaitlan Collins, and that clip we just watched. The CNN anchor was fishing for a gotcha moment, something that could make Trump look unfit for office. The question: a trap. If Trump said he wanted Ukraine to win, he'd be accused of escalating World War III. If he backed Russia, he'd be smeared as a traitor. A lose-lose situation for the future American president. Kaitlan thought she had him cornered, but Trump isn't new to this game. He dodged the setup flawlessly, insisting he didn't want any more lives lost, whether Ukrainian or Russian. Smart move. But if there's one thing the woke mob hates, it's losing control of the narrative. And trust me, they weren't about to let this one slide, so they doubled down.
You held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's
you
the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Ooh, looks like Trump wasn't having any of Kaitlan Collins' antics, so he called her out right then and there. And honestly, he had every reason to. Instead of just asking a straight question, Kaitlan was rambling, layering in commentary, and wasting time, almost like she was filibustering her own interview. Classic CNN move, it was obvious what she was doing. This wasn't about getting answers. Her entire strategy was to trap Trump with convoluted, no-win questions. Something designed to trip him up, make him stumble, or better yet, catch him in a soundbite that the media could run with for days. But Trump? He saw it coming a mile away. Like a seasoned fighter, he bobbed, weaved, and escaped like a fly, then turned around and landed a devastating counterpunch. One moment Kaitlan thought she had him cornered, the next she was the one left scrambling. Brutal. And honestly, this wasn't the first time she tried this. But as always, Trump flipped the script right in her face. Still, she kept coming. This time, she went for Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr.
That environment wasn't just created by Donald Trump.
Okay, but can I say, you can't blame, and everyone wants your dad to be safe. No one wants the threats against his life to happen, but you can't blame the media for those threats. There's been no evidence that's what drove those.
And allows people to have a platform to call someone literally Hitler every day for 9 years, it creates it.
Okay.
Whether you want to believe it or not, that's a fact.
But as you know, J.D. Vance once likened your dad to Hitler as well. He questioned if he was America's Hitler.
This heated exchange came right after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Trump Jr. didn't hold back. He blamed the media for fueling the attack by constantly comparing his father to Hitler. And he's right. For nearly a decade, the media has painted Trump as America's Hitler, a dictator hell-bent on destroying the country. They've despised him, mocked him, and demonized him, turning him into a monster. And did you catch that last line, where Kaitlan Collins smugly claimed J.D. Vance once called Trump Hitler? And so what? Vance didn't have the media's power, influence, or massive reach, so his words never carried the same weight. Plus, he might have initially fallen for the media's anti-Trump narrative, until he actually got to know Trump and realized he's nowhere near what they made him out to be. So, is it any surprise Bill Maher flared up? He sees the hypocrisy, the double standards, and the disastrous impact of media-driven smear campaigns. And this time, he wasn't letting them off the hook.
To bury the Hunter Biden.
You're talking about the press doing that?
He's saying that's what they did, and that is what they did. They buried the Hunter Biden story before the election because they were like, we can't risk having the election thrown to Trump. We'll tell them after the election.
And we know for a fact that that's what they did?
Of course. You don't follow this.
Saying you know for a fact that that's what they did. I don't know what they did.
I know, because you only watch MSNBC.
No, that's not true.
Bill Maher had it with the media's double standards. Kaitlan Collins and her colleagues have spent years crafting a one-sided narrative, painting Biden as a saint and Trump as the ultimate sinner. They're not just reporting the news, they're manufacturing it. Their obsession with keeping Democrats in power has led to relentless negative coverage of Trump, twisting every word, spinning every headline, and fueling the outrage machine 24/7. But when the scandals involve their guy, total silence. Take Hunter Biden, for example. The man's laptop leaks damning evidence of corruption, influence peddling, and shady foreign deals. Yet Kaitlan and her crew bury the story like it never happened. Imagine if Don Jr. had even 1/10 of Hunter's baggage. CNN would be running wall-to-wall coverage for weeks. And that's exactly why Bill Maher snapped. He sees the hypocrisy. He knows the media isn't just biased, they're activists in disguise. And this time, he wasn't about to let them off easy.
Was what you'd have to call some sort of media suppression of Hunter Biden's computer right before the election.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay,
and the truth is, I still don't know what I think about that. And sometimes,
right.
But I mean, to actually parse everything in there and figure out just how dirty Biden Sr. is as a result of the information there.
Can I go to step two? But nothing really. It was common. So it was the kind of sort of everyday graft that's sleazy, but doesn't affect the world. Probably.
Yes.
Hunter Biden sold his father's influence to get money. But Joe Biden himself would not give away our nuclear secrets to the Chinese. He's not, he has a soft spot for his son, his ne'er-do-well, stupid son.
I mean, you've heard his voicemails to his
Hunter.
Yes.
So, like, Dad, I'm in a little bit of a jam. Could you just meet with the Chinese guy next week? It would mean a lot to me. And Joe would do it. And then and then Hunter would get the money for the meeting.
Yeah, that's how bad things got when the Hunter Biden scandal exploded. And honestly, we're probably lucky Hunter didn't sweet-talk his dad into handing over nuclear codes in exchange for a quick payday. Given his track record, would anyone really be shocked? The man has sold access, influence, and who knows what else. But sure, let's all pretend Trump is the real villain here. The media bends over backwards to protect the Bidens, acting like Hunter is just a misunderstood guy with personal struggles. But let's face it, if Trump Jr. had half of Hunter's scandals, the media would call for his public execution. The hypocrisy is insane. They'll manufacture a scandal out of Trump breathing, yet when hard evidence of corruption, shady deals, and influence peddling drops on Hunter, crickets. And that's exactly why people like Bill Maher, who used to lean left, are finally calling out the nonsense. At some point, even lifelong Democrats have to admit this isn't journalism, it's propaganda. And Kaitlan Collins was at the forefront. Oh, given all these happenings, it wasn't surprising when Kaitlan finally joined Bill Maher for an interview. We all knew there would be fireworks, but no one expected this level of demolition.
You made press because you were on Stephen Colbert's show, and he said something like, you guys at CNN just report the news straight, and the crowd burst into laughter. Look, I'm on CNN now. I guess we're on it right now. I mean, they show this show the next night. I don't know how we get away with it with all the fucks, but they do. And all these dirty jokes. But I'm glad, and I'm a big rooter for CNN. But that tells you a lot, doesn't it? I mean, how do you guys think you are doing in that arena of this is a terribly divided country. We're not only politicized, a lot of people just hate the other side. And CNN, in my view, should be the place where both sides can watch. How do you think you're doing with that?
CNN is the place where both sides can watch. And I think, my show is evidence of that. We have lawmakers on from both parties. We'll have Elizabeth Warren on one night. We'll have Ted Cruz on.
Bill Maher didn't hold back. He torched Kaitlan Collins and CNN for their so-called impartiality. He called out the network's fake attempts at balance, exposing how they occasionally allow a token conservative voice just to pretend they're fair. But the truth? CNN's version of impartiality is a joke. They'll bring on a Republican, usually someone who already hates Trump, let them speak for maybe 30 seconds, then spend the next 10 minutes tearing them apart. That's not balance, that's controlled opposition. Meanwhile, when it comes to Democrats, CNN acts like an extended PR team, running damage control and spinning scandals into minor inconveniences. Maher sees through the game. He knows that networks like CNN aren't in the business of journalism anymore. They're in the business of narrative control. They shape public opinion, decide which stories matter, and conveniently ignore anything that might hurt their political allies. And when someone dares to call them out, they cry, misinformation, and try to silence the criticism. No wonder Bill snapped. The hypocrisy was just too much to ignore. The end of today's video. If you enjoyed our frank commentary, then hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos such as this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.